So, we've all seen these people around Pontiff or anywhere, in fact. They just L1, they L1, and they L1. And it doesn't matter what the situation is, they literally will just L1 forever. It doesn't matter. But, what if I was to say that the weapon is slightly more than just L1? I think maybe it's time to fuck this. I fucking hate this intro. Fuck. This is so bad. Okay, just look at the monsters. Fuck. Okay, so before we get into everything, let's just go over the general move set of the Farron Greatsword and all the combos. So first thing you keep in mind is just actually for the L1 there's the hitbox of the dagger and the sword. So the dagger hitbox is very important in all the combos, right? So the first one I'm going to show off is R1 into L1 when the dagger's at close range, and the dagger has to hit them too. Next one is already well known. It's L1, L1. The dagger has to hit them twice, and it's unescapable. Both of those are unescapable. Next one is not as well known. It's L1 into non-charged heavy attack. I'm just going to showcase it again. It works. It's unescapable. I think the only thing you can do is purse out of it. You can't quick step or dodge out of it. There is an alternative to this combo, and it's L1 into jumping attack. I'm seen it combo sometimes. I've seen it not combo sometimes. I don't really know what causes it, and I don't even know how to do it. So I wouldn't really rely upon that as a combo. But it's interesting. I don't know how it works though. This one isn't really a combo. But next, we're going to talk about a follow up, right? So it's charge R2 in to L1, right? It's not a true combo, right? But it's a really good roll catch. So basically, what it is, if you hit someone with the charge R2 of the Farron Greatsword, right, and you L1, if they try to roll away, you will guarantee roll catch them. But this is on a zero latency, right? Because it's a Ethernet cord connected to the same Wi-Fi. So it doesn't matter what the distance. We tried all these distances. We changed it up, changed up the timings, and if they roll away and you L1 immediately, you will roll catch them. It doesn't matter. Right? We tried them moving, like move it while moving, still roll catches. If they roll away, it doesn't matter really whether it's left or right. Really, it's as long as they roll away, you'll get them because the Farron Greatsword is covers all angles. Right? We tried close up, and the thing is, and the only thing they can do is they have to roll through you in a certain way, right? Like both these times, my brother he rolls through me, so he doesn't get hit. However, okay, although you may think, okay, well, they can just roll through me, right? It might not be useful, but the thing is, sometimes even if you hit them with charge, they actually get stuck on your model, and you can hit them, and you could combo them again, right? And obviously, this also has like really good priority, right? Because they get hit just out of the stun, and if they try to L1 out of it, they just get hit, and then you can finish them off. Next, we're going to talk about rope firebombs in the Farron Greatsword. Rope firebombs in the Farron Greatsword, they work hand in hand because earlier, just like the Charge R2, right? If they roll away, they will get roll cloud. It doesn't matter, right? They have to roll in a certain way, similar to the Charge R2 to get on. They even have to double roll, which takes up a lot of their stamina, right? And the thing is, you can also even try to predict like where they're going to roll, and you could even roll catch them with that, right? And it's very difficult. Like you may just think, okay, roll through the person. It's like very difficult to sometimes predict, like especially if the person is moving with the rope firebomb, right? And they have to roll out of it. Unfortunately, you can't do L1 or another combo due to the rope firebomb hit stun initially. And see like that, he just tried to roll through there and he got hit. So, and we tried quick step. If they get hit with the instability, they do get hit, but they don't. You can't combo them, unfortunately. Next, we're going to talk about the Farron Greatsword's like ability to like outspace larger weapons, right? Especially with the L1, because with the L1 you take a step forward. Not only that, you can also mess up like the tracking like completely, right? Especially while backstepping. Unfortunately, this guy after that he sort of just gave up. But usually like Ultra Greatsword or two-handed anyways, usually would have like an awful time fighting a Great Hammer. Dude, just like getting outpoised and everything. But with the Farron Greatsword, you can completely like outspace the weapon and like, of course, like this he wasn't the best like Great Hammer, but still he just got completely destroyed and he couldn't do anything. Next, we're gonna look at this duel. I think this is like a perfect example of like how much pressure the Farron Greatsword can apply. Like, look, like this guy, the Claymore is already a tough like time with ultras, but like he's just getting like outspaced, right? And he doesn't have enough stamina to block. It's like extremely annoying, just extremely relentless. Like you can constantly aggress, right? He wasn't the best player, but it's still annoying. That was a dumb parry there, but you can sort of see like how many mix-ups you can do too, like staggered R1. I didn't think I would actually hit that. I think he was out of stam, but like you can just see how annoying it is. Like just even the rolling like L1 and then into the R2 and the firebomb into like like it just became a very annoying thing for him to deal with. Next, we're gonna talk about like the R2 like ability to like if a person queues a roll and you queue an R2, you like always roll catch them. I believe under like 0 latency if the roll is queued. Those are two dumb parries, but like see again, he queues the roll, he gets automatically roll caught. And next, we're gonna look at this duel. This duel also contains like another example of like being able to use the R2 to like catch a queued roll catch. And it's very useful in situations. Although like you'll see in a moment what happens, but um, right. So essentially, he does an accidental jumping R2, right, and he has to roll out because he doesn't want to get backstabbed, right. So at that point, I can like use the R2 in my full like advantage, and I can start my own roll catch, and I actually get more damage off of him than if I was literally just to backstab him, right. I don't know. He actually had tears there, unfortunately, but still doesn't matter. I don't know why, but he doesn't roll here. Maybe he just forgot to roll, but so. And this is another example. This is something I see often when I pull out this weapon. For some reason, people think that like you know, they can just parry the finger. I don't know who gave them that idea, but it's not a very easy weapon to parry because you have to mainly parry the dagger. You can parry the sword, but it becomes much more difficult. And one of my favorite things is to use the reverse backstep and start roll catching them after like a combo, right? And at this point, since he's at like low HP anyways, I knew he was gonna go for the Hail Mary parry. So I just kicked him, but it sort of just shows to an example of like you shouldn't just like parry spam against a weapon because everyone says okay it's parry it. You see it on YouTube. Next, we're going to be looking at this duel. It's another thing that's annoying sometimes to fight with the Farron Greatsword. This is where offhand becomes very important. It's fighting a passive spear player, right? Because this guy is very passive. I actually hit him. I should have not done that reverse backstep there, but it becomes very annoying sometimes. Even for like regular ultras, it becomes very annoying to fight it. So at this point, you have to pull out like your offhand, and the Corvine is usually my offhand to go with. You could try S-Stock or something else, right? But the Corvine, I think, is just very good with ultras in general because it's fast. It sort of makes up for everything, right? And also add priority there due to the wing attack. I actually saw, like, if you want to see a really good player that uses a offhand Corvian and mainhand Ultra, you can look at Gabri. I don't know if he plays the game that much anymore, but I remember seeing clips of it, and he's just like an absolute monster with that, just constantly harassing him. Right, and at this point, I sort of just started spamming firebombs, right, because he didn't really look that experienced with Murky. And see, that's another example of where, like, you can make up for a combo that doesn't exist, like using the backstep, right? Like, nothing would have comboed there, but due to the backstep, I actually roll caught him there. And you can see, yeah, he really wasn't that good with Murky. He was somewhat latent to me, too, which is annoying, but he wasn't that good. He was sort of just spamming quickstep. He didn't really know what he was doing in general. And at this point, you can use mix-ups. Like, he thinks I'm just going to try to finish him off the Corvian, but I actually mixed up, like, a running attack, and I would have poised through it, number one, and I got, like, priority, too, so. The next clip we're going to look at, it's sort of like an Nathan context, right, but it's the same thing. It's a duel. It's a one-on-one. And this is against a two-handed Ultra, right? Which the Farron Greatsword, honestly, I think it has a really good, matchup with two-handed Ultra. That's one thing though about the offhand Corvian. The second hit actually doesn't have any hit stun, so you can hit them with the second hit and they can actually mash out of it, where they just don't take any like poise damage. They don't get staggered, right? This is why I try to like catch him with the R2 there. I even tried like the plunging attack with the jumping attack, which is fun, but at this point, like I think I can just like completely bulldoze him because like I can just outspace him. I'm sort of just waiting for him to swing, right? And eventually, I just like use perseverance. And first I was thinking about just doing a regular combo, but I realized I could like roll catch with that. He blocks that first, and I use a backstep, and I get him with both ones, and you can finish him off with a dagger, right? Okay, and this one is just another example of like the importance of firebombs. Like he quick steps into the firebomb, and he could have rolled out, but I think he just sort of got stuck. I don't think he expected a firebomb there in general. And then this next one is also same sort of thing about like just trying to parry the Farron Greatsword, because he actually switched from two-handed Y-handed to one-handed, which is not very good combined with cases, or at least in my opinion, right? And you can see like the reverse backstep to catch him because I sort of predicted where he would roll, and then I started using the offhand Corvian because he's sort of just going for parry attempts and tried to mash out of it, like do a rolling attack. And since he actually wasn't two-handing, he didn't have enough poise to go through the dagger, the offhand dagger. This next clip is it's sort of just showing like the roll catching ability of like the Farron Greatsword. Like I backstep into, he actually blocks it, which was smart, but actually he rolled in accidentally. Instead, he gets hit by a charged R2. That was a dumb parry, but he's also a nice Hodrick cosplay. But like you can sort of just see like I noticed he's like not dumb, so I tried to change the timing of the R2, but to my surprise, he actually queued roll it, and unfortunately gets caught by that. But this guy wasn't really that good. He tried to jumping attack, right, and you can see like why you should not try to mash out after R2. Like he just gets like put in roll catch hell. Like he cannot get out of it. Now this one was one of the harder duels. It was against Black Knight Shield, which to a normal Ultra and in Farron Greatsword, like while two-handing is annoying, but I don't think it's like that bad with an offhand weapon like the Corvian, right? Like it's really annoying, especially if that person's sort of playing like very evasive. That's another example of, and then he whips out the X bow, but he doesn't realize that I can just poise through that, so I don't have to respect it. And then he resorts back to the shield. I'm surprised that roll called him. I don't know if that was just due to latency or not, but I roll out of his R1 spam and like he resorts back to the Black Knight shield because he knows that like, okay, well yeah, I can just turtle behind this and I'll be safe. right? That's the point where I sort of whip out like the offhand. The Corvian becomes like very important. Just like applying pressure is becoming very annoying. The running attack, I poise through it or poise through that attack. And I was thinking about just hard swapping because like in general in the duels like meta nowadays, you should always have like the habit of hard swapping. It's very important, right? Like you shouldn't just stick to one weapon, but you should like have a core, I guess. He sort of just went back to turtling. I was stupid. I sort of just tried to like R1 or L1 spam out of the attack, especially with Morian Blade. Um, like he had like both red tier stone and blue tier stone, I believe, right now. So, and this is an example of like you're gonna see like a really weird mix up, right? Like he tries his X bow. It's like very annoying to deal with his X bow because I can't get close really. And this is where the L1 like rolling L1 comes important because it actually has more range and a different timing, right? Fortunately, he sort of like panic rolled there. I don't even know why, but this is another duel with him. He was pretty good. We've had multiple duels. So this he's sort of like changing up his moves. So he's sort of getting really unpredictable of like how what everything he's doing. Um, So if you went to Gundyr, I don't know why that was a bad Gundyr there, and he gets backstabbed for it, right? And I was thinking of doing the like regular one, but I don't think he realized I had the Corvian out. Like that's the thing, like the Corvian and the parrying dagger, they're very hard to tell apart because they're both sort of like I guess their models sort of the same. Like you can tell by like if the weapon is facing upwards or downwards. I guess the blade, right? And at this point, I was just sort of harassing him with the Corvian. I was sort of using mix-ups like maybe L1 into R1. You could not like predict when I was going to use my hyper armor a little bit. At this point, I don't know why I went for this. I thought it would be a weird experiment to see like main hand Corvian, offhand Farron Greatsword. Definitely not, in my opinion, the best. Interesting, but it's not awful, right? So at this point, I was mainly trying to just get past the shield of Corvian, right? But I think he sort of realized, that's my plan, and he was trying to counter it. And I was also trying to like kill him before he gets red tier stone activated because that just becomes like hell to deal with. Like he could like two shot me or just completely like I guess destroy me in a sense, right? So I was just chasing him down, and unfortunately I didn't actually finish him there due to latency, right? And he now has red tier stone with, and I think he's about to whip out Morian's blade, which means he's gonna be doing like a lot of damage. We try to mix up with the Farron Greatsword there, yeah, and like I got impatient. I shouldn't have done that, right? But fortunately, I sort of predicted it. Like he was really desperate to finish me, so I could just parry like his like non-charged R2. And this is a duel where I mean that backstab was a little bit janky, I have to admit, but I tried the Farron Greatsword R2 wake up. It's not really that good in my opinion. It's much like regular ultra wake ups like the Zweihander. That's another example of like the backstep, not like the backstep rule catching. Yeah, this next duel was sort of just like showing like all the showing all the mix ups you can do with the Farron Greatsword, right? Like um, R2, that was actually a really good outspacing by him in another like unpredictable move. But unfortunately, he sort of gets punched that in the sense that like, he's sort of out of stam, and I sort of mix up like the backstep with like another R2, right, and even an R1, and it's sort of just like he just didn't know what I was going for. He also had a few good mix-ups there too, but this next one also is against another Black Knight Shield. This guy was slightly worse with it. I don't know. He had some weird latency with me too, I think, but it wasn't that bad. So like his plan in general was just to hide behind the shield, and I just did like staggered like L1 with the Corvian just to get chip damage. I don't know how that didn't hit him. That was just a weird fucking hitbox there. And you can sort of just see like he's very passive, but against an ultra, honestly, like a passive player is sort of very helpful, right? Because you sort of just want to keep aggressing with the ultra, and also helps that like the stamina damage with the ultra is very important. Like I tried the L1 wake up there with the Corvian again. I don't know, like he was just playing very passive. Like he didn't aggressive really at all with the shield. He wasn't really playing optimally. Um, with that shield, like he was just very passive in general. He was just standing still because I think he was like, okay, well, yeah, you can't hit me anymore because I'll just block it. And this is I think maybe do I hard swap here? Oh, actually, I just switched to two-handed Corvian. because he was just being like really just annoying and stupid. Honestly, it was also sort of being a little bit cocky with like the shield wiggle. He was just saying like attack me, attack me. But eventually, I think he gets. Let me see. Eventually, he sort of gets mixed up the rolling or when it wasn't that good. It was just more of like an annoying chase down. But this one was against a mage. I haven't really fought any mages with the Farron GS that much. He wasn't really a good mage, but you can sort of also use the Farron Greatsword as like a anti-homing mask because keep in mind you're still moving while doing it, so you could actually dodge soul mass. Sadly, I think I've done that before, but I haven't clipped it. But you can dodge soul mass with like the L1, and you can also apply pressure to the mage. And keep in mind, mages usually they don't have very high stamina at all, so it becomes like really, really frustrating to deal with this sometimes as a mage because they have to sometimes double roll, and then they're out of stam, and then if they try to cast homing soul mass, they'll get punished for it. And this one was also against a good player. You had some weird latency with me too. I'm not exactly sure where he was from, but it was a ring knight straight sword sort of, and I don't know how, but apparently he escaped it. I don't know if that was just due to latency or not, or it was just some like weird like timing where I didn't actually charge the R2. I thought he would roll away, so I moved away, but he actually rolled in surprisingly. He could have backstabbed me there. That was a mistake, but at this point, I was just like sort of mixing. And you also use that to get like the person away from you, like R1 into L1. Like they have to roll away most of the time. They're not gonna like roll behind you. And I sort of started spamming Corvian, but due to our latency, he actually didn't get like hit at all. Um, that also was hit was also probably like due to somewhat latency. I don't think he expected to get hit by that. Um, and then R1 to L1, and then I think I do a backstep. And since I go all the way around, he actually didn't roll far enough, which is unfortunate for him. Yeah, so in this next duel, we're just gonna sort of like go over this fight. It wasn't that long, but I sort of just got like hit by spamming R1 there. But he was out of stam because of that. Unfortunately, he actually got like roll caught by the L1. I probably should have like unfortunately, I couldn't true combo any of those due to like the position I sort of backstepped into and where I ended up. Um, and at this point, I was sort of just like chasing him down. He tried to stagger when he wasn't bad. It was just like I didn't really know what to expect from him, but he sort of gets caught by the R1, and I wouldn't have been able to combo with anything. Maybe another R1. I didn't realize it, but I can sort of backstep and catch him with the L1. This is also another fight against a giant other Ultra Greatsword that's being two-handed, which in a vertical Ultra Greatsword, honestly, against the Farron Greatsword, I feel like they have the Farron Greatsword holds like a huge advantage, right? He tries to poise through it, and he actually figured out how to roll like away from the the L1 after the R2, and he outspaced me pretty good there too. He wasn't bad. Um, I just think his build wasn't like very like a good matchup, and I think he may have been out of stam there, and I couldn't combo there, right? I'm actually pretty sure From did that on purpose because they're trying to avoid an infinite. Oh, there's other infinites in the game, but this fight was also against the spear player. He wasn't passive, but I think he sort of just made a mistake here. He tried to like outpoise me, which was sort of already a mistake. Like that weapon has like a ton of poise, but not enough for Ultra. And I didn't really know if that would combo or not, so I just sort of went for the safe R1. And again, this is another example of like the queued R2 roll catch. He sort of just got roll caught by that. This is another duel where I'm going to talk about Black Knight Shield. He used a curved sword, Black Knight Shield. Very interesting. Follower Saber. Very interesting choice. But this is also another example of like how important the offhand is, number one, and like how important like it is to predict your opponent. Like, right, I knew he would go for the weapon right there because he thought I would just like panic roll, so I sort of went an R2 afterwards, right? And I can sort of mix it up too because you saw me at the Corvian earlier, so now he's like he thinks I can't like hard swap like that, but I can because I actually got rid of the Corvian. He didn't realize it, so I can go to the Follower Saber and apply pressure with that. I was thinking about doing Gundyr against the Shield, but honestly, I don't think Gundyr would have really worked against this guy. He's not bad. Um, that was just like resetting poise for both of us, and I put the Corvian back on just in general to like mix it up and apply pressure. He sort of didn't expect me to go for another R1 there, right? And I can sort of like stagger rule catch him with the dagger twice instead of going for another R1. I rolled in there because I thought I'd actually be able to poise through it, but I actually took too much poise damage. I couldn't actually poise through his curve sword R1. And at this point, I was sort of just harassing him, mixing up like the L1 and the R1 with the Farron Greatsword. I didn't know when I would have hyper armor, when I wouldn't. Um, I was just doing stagger roll catches just to harass him constantly. I tried to backstep, mix up him multiple times. He really did not know what to expect. He switches to Ear Throw Oak for like regen, right? And unfortunately, he doesn't. He completely forgets I have like my other moveset too. He didn't even realize I swapped to two-handed Farron Greatsword, so he actually gets punished for that. This was another fight against A, who was also a very good player with the Black Knight Shield. So he sort of just threw that at me to get rid of. I should have realized that he actually got rid of my my protection stone earlier, and I threw it on regen. But this fighting a Black Knight Shield, sometimes it's like very very frustrating. So this is where you have to like resort to the offhand, and he had some latency with me too. But at this point, I sort of swap, right? And I thought I would get it there, but unfortunately, I didn't get a backstab. So I got a regular R1. I tried to like stagger and backstab with the Corvian to try to get like a really good roll catch combo with him. I was hoping to hit him 3 times, but unfortunately, I didn't get him any times with the Corvian. And then during the fight, he was sort of like a turtle. He was semi crit fishing, but I think there's only one time he actually could have critted me there. That was like a really bad. And I tried to like, since I knew what he was doing, I tried to like angle it there, but instead I actually ended on his ass instead. And I would have like been able to get backstab, but so at this point I sort of like resorted to Corvian. He started like trying to hard swap and just like change up his like predictability. Because he sort of saw me, like, he sort of tried to get a rhythm for, like, when I would stagger the O1s. At this point, I was like, okay, I'm just going to hard swap. He didn't even realize, and then I just sort of staggered Follower Saber. He actually gets roll caught there, and it combos into another R1. So that was a dumb Gundyr, by the way. I'm very fortunate that he wasn't able to punish that. And, like, that's just the thing, like, you should always try to, like, mix up your predictability, especially if it's annoying. Don't always stick to one weapon. It's fine. And this is a fight where I'm gonna go over this guy's at the beginning he's using Claymore, right? Which I don't think is a very good matchup to Farron Greatsword in general, right? And he's sort of getting slightly roll caught. And due to elevation, sometimes, by the way, you're not actually going to be able to roll catch the person because the sword might go above their head. And he sort of got outspaced there. And I think at this point, he starts whipping out. He becomes like an S-stock turtle, which is somewhat annoying to deal with the Ultra. But I think honestly, since he's turtling, he's going to be passive anyways, which I think every Ultra player likes, like sort of a passive player in a sense. Like if they have an offhand anyways. Like this, like he's sort of just getting like harassed by the Corvian constantly. Right, like he just gets little pokes off, right? But they don't actually do that much to me because S-stock turtling doesn't do much damage, you know. And see, that was another example of like before, like the L1 went into the ground, so it actually didn't hit him because we weren't on a flat ground. And this is just an example of like getting roll caught by the Corvian and just using mix-ups in general. Those were 2 bad trades there, by the way, because if he got a counter hit on either of them or both of them, I would have lost like a lot more HP than I would have at the beginning. I don't know why his Corvian, by the way, his S-stock, I mean, wasn't doing that much damage. Maybe that was maybe he was on a heavy or like a strength build in general. And I used the backstep there. And at this point in the duel, it was sort of already over. He actually, I switched the crossbow to get past his shield, and he sort of just started like running around. It lasts for a bit, but it was more of an annoying thing to deal with. And my expo isn't very good anyway, so my aim is sort of trash. Like it's just very annoying in general trying to chase down anyone with an ultra in a duel, or finish someone with an ultra if they have a shield out. So then at this point I sort of dispersed. He actually messed up there, but this was against a better S-stock turtle, I thought. He was very good at using his shield and trying to apply pressure in general. Right? He was also trying to like get off my defense boost from the shield ring at the beginning, but like Unfortunately, I thought I actually roll called him there, but I didn't. He was also very good at trying to like get me off his tail, and he wasn't playing completely passive either. He was trying to apply pressure, and I was trying to mix up with the L1s and the R1s of the Corvian and the Farron Greatsword. I tried, and since he was turtling like that, I actually tried to hit him because if you didn't know, when you're actually doing the shield poke, it actually doesn't take the stability of the shield when you're doing the shield poke. That was a good mix up there. It actually takes this like the stability of the S stock or the weapon that you're currently using the shield poke with, which means like if I hit him once, that would basically mean he's out of like stam, and I can just like R1, right? Like I believe that happens in this duel. Like also keep in mind, there's passive, there's like roll poise, right? I think it happens here. Like I realized he has no poise. Maybe I should have went for another L1 there, but he actually was smart. He actually tried to get pressure off with the rolling R1, which I didn't expect, and gets a riposte. And unfortunately, I sort of messed up, and I didn't dodge his gun deer. It was a good S stock turtle though. And now this one was, I think this is one where A beats me. I think I sort of made, I don't think I made I think I sort of made a mistake. Um, I was also just using the Corvian to harass him and the rolling R1. Honestly, I think some people say like, okay, yeah, it should be like more of an offensive thing, but honestly, I don't really see it that way. Even with like the regular way I play, which is I use it more as like a defense thing of like get off me, like because it's just more annoying to deal with. Like it just like I don't see it as like a way to really apply pressure. Like I can use it both ways, but I can see how some people think it's like a way to apply pressure. Like that, for instance, that was just an unfortunate pair. I don't think he expected to hit that early either, but I thought I could backstab him there, but unfortunately due to the tracking, it was actually better than I thought it would be, and I hit him there, but he also uses perseverance, and then he whips out the PKCS. I'll be honest with you, I can't really fight PKCS that well, and I think that against this guy, this was also a very good PKCS player. Like I think the main fear of the Farron Greatsword is like fighting anything that like can out aggress, and I think PKCS is like it's just the weapon. Like in general, it's just a very aggressive weapon. I think it can completely outgress most ultras, and most ultras do have trouble fighting. Like it's just completely out like aggressive. I don't know why, but the RT didn't go there. Like he can hit me like before I actually get into my hyper. I try to whip out the Corvin, I try to mash out, and he's able to roll catch me. He was just very good with the PKCS and applying pressure. Like I couldn't take like any liberties. I tried to mix up there. He dodged it. In a sense, he's sort of just like reading me sometimes. I think I sort of got. I think I don't know how the Orin hit him. I don't know, just weird latency. But I tried like perseverance and like mixing everything up. He was just like really good at avoiding my L1s and trying to like stay out of my reach in a sense. I don't think I played the best here, but I think he was very good. Like yeah, and again like PKCS just roll catch hell sometimes. So well, that's in the video. Let me know if you disagreed with something I said in the comments. Uh, and that's basically. I'll leave some useful links in the description for ultra guides and stuff. So see ya, bye. And I'll leave Gabri's channel for like the Corvian, and you can look at all his duels. I also posted like the raw duels or like some raw footage about like 33% of the duels I had. You can analyze those if you want to look at them or not. Anyways, see ya. I'm done.